Well, hello everyone. Today I have a special guest. You're going to be able to meet my boyfriend today. Yes, very exciting news. So, without further ado, here he is. It's Rooster the Rat. That's right. All this time, yeah. We've been how long have we been going out? For about 2 pink years. That's right. Oh yes. Oh, isn't he just so cute? All right, that's it. That's all for the video. Bye bye, everyone. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. Actually, my real boyfriend is right here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bring him in. Here we go. 1, 2, 3.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm sure you recognize him. This is Ray. We did a video not that long ago, and well, things have changed since since then. So, yeah, he has a YouTube channel that he gained a lot of subscribers with. So I'm sure he'll gain even more now.
Yes, very much. Thank
you were
guys.
like 30 before. Now
Yeah,
you're
it's
like 130.
Yeah. Oh yeah, this is a lot since then. Yeah.
So you're gonna get probably even more now
Awesome.
after this. So that'd be good. So what I thought we would do is I have some questions that we would answer that were probably some common questions that you probably would have, just to kind of detail about how things have gone and everything. So we will go over those and yeah, I think that'd be good. Now we could also at some point in the future, I'm sure many people have a lot of questions, so we may do like a live stream at some point to answer questions if that would be good with you at some point.
Yeah, of course.
Okay. How did we meet? And well, it's actually quite an interesting story how we met because I was going out to the dumpster to throw away some garbage. And as I'm throwing the bag in, I hear this ow because I smack him in the face with the garbage as I'm throwing it in.
Here.
Yeah. And I'm like, okay, why is there someone in there? So we didn't really have a discussion that first time. And then about a week later, I do it again. I throw the garbage in and I see him there. I'm like, hello, who is this? And what was the first thing that you said to me from that?
I was like, oh, hi. I wasn't expecting anyone to talk to me this time. I'm usually just dumpster diving and minding my own business and looking for certain specific things to place in my house. So that time I was surprised to find this beautiful woman out there throwing away just something that I was actually searching for like a week. I was dumpster diving like every day searching for that one thing. And here she comes with that object that hit me in the face. But I was really happy that I found them both that day.
Yeah, quite an interesting story that probably most people have not heard, but guess what? None of that's true at all. It's all made up. It's all made up. That's all made up story.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So how we actually met was I was actually hosting a group meeting, and it was the last one that I was doing right before summer, and he had shown up. So from your perspective, how did you not any specific details like about the group, but like you found the group like right before the meeting, and that was like one of your times going out. So
yeah,
you can just talk a little bit about that, I guess.
Yeah, so back then I was trying to branch out and trying to make new friends and find my own support group. So I was searching online in different areas to find that and find people out there who may have similar interests as me. So one day I was just scrolling through some events, and her event that she hosted just popped up, and for some reason I was really interested in that and trying that out and seeing who I'm able to meet and what these events are actually about. So I decided to just show up and go to that event one afternoon, and that's when we met each other there. And we at first we were just very polite and very friendly with each other, and yeah, we just became friends from there.
And he met my family at that very first meeting that he went to. So it was actually like, well, you meet me and my family right away.
Yeah, everyone was there.
It ended up working out quite well with that.
Oh yeah.
how did our relationship progress? Because that was right before you started testosterone, so it
Mhm.
was about um, middle of June of 2017.
Oh yeah. After we met, we started hanging out more and more, spending time together as just friends. Honestly, when I went to the event, I was more looking just for friends, and I wasn't looking for any romantic relationships at the time, since I was trying to better myself, and just trying to find a main support network here. Eventually, the friendship progressed, and our feelings started growing stronger for each other from each encounter. We just learned so much about each other, and we still are. And I'm very thankful for that today.
Yeah, I would say it wasn't until closer to like the last 2 months of the year, November and December, when I started to pick up on more signs from you that you were interested in me. And it was, you know, the interesting thing about this also is even when I had met him and was around him, I felt very comfortable, which was very unusual for me. That like I was more comfortable. I found myself doing things that I wouldn't normally do in front of people, which was quite interesting. So I guess I was like, oh, I guess I'm more comfortable around him, and it was always fun when we would do an activity together. Um, and I guess also it was around the same time towards the end of the year, I was kind of debating in my mind, like, um, am I interested or am I not interested? And it was kind of like a back and forth type of thing because, I didn't see him in any romantic way until I guess closer to the end of the year. And it was like then I began to contemplate it a little bit. It's like, well, I don't know. And then it was one of those scenarios where I would think in my mind, well, should I give it a try or should I not give it a try? And that's kind of what I was debating, which was kind of hard for me because I was just constantly thinking in my mind, it's like, well, maybe this trait or that trait, he may not know about this, so I'm not going to be interested in him, you know? And I was very strict with a lot of the things. And I was like, you know what? Let me put all that aside and let me, you know, rationalize how I'm actually feeling here and let me open up and let's see what happens and putting those things aside that are really not that important to begin with. All these, tight ideas that I had for a romantic partner. Let me just put that aside and just see. And I'm very glad that I did because it has been very rewarding since then. So, um, I guess it was right around Christmas time that when we both started to have a lot of mutual feelings towards one another that I was like, okay, we need to have a conversation.
Mhm.
And then by the end of that week, I was like, okay, we're going to have this conversation. You were very certain, you were pretty certain as to what the outcome was. So why don't you mention that?
Yeah. So in my perspective, I was starting to feel something more than just friends with her about the same time that I think she was feeling the same way with me. But for me, I just wasn't too aware of how I actually felt for her until a couple months later. And when we started, I guess, being more flirty around each other and showing more signs of affection that we usually don't share with other people, then I started to question, exactly, this feeling that I felt for her. And the feeling just got stronger and stronger until if, for example, if she'd never asked me about it, then I probably would have asked her about it. So it's just something that I just couldn't hide anymore. And it was like this strong urge to like be with her. And at the time, I was thinking to myself, like, am I ready for this? Because I was I was still moving on from a previous past relationship, and that caused me a lot of pain before. And since then, though, I have grown stronger and wiser, and eventually, like when I think about it, it doesn't pain me anymore, and I'm able to move on to like a newer, better, stronger relationship than I've ever had before.
Well, that's great. So it was pretty much like right before the new year that we had that discussion. It was like, um, I never felt at any point with him like any kind of nervousness. So I was able to have that conversation. I was so surprised by myself. Like why am I not feeling any kind of nervousness at all? It's so bizarre. So I guess that really showed me like the amount of comfortability that I have with him here. So um, had that conversation and told him that it was a mutual thing. There was no rejection at all, even though you were kind of planning for both scenarios.
Right,
But
right.
it was very good. So it happened like right before New Year's, so that was great. Um, and I guess the other interesting thing is that usually it's quite uncommon to see. I don't know how common it is, but we're both transgender people ourselves, so that's a interesting thing, male to female and then female to male. So it's a interesting dynamic there. I think it's kind of like I've described it as like one of those unspoken type of bonds that you have that those feelings, but it's similar, but it's different as well. So that's very interesting.
Yeah.
Um, so our third question is, what do we love about one another? So I will let you begin.
Okay, so there's a lot. There's a lot that I love about you, but I'm just gonna limit it to the top two.
Okay.
The first one is I just love how amazing of a motivator you are, for yourself as well as for me and other people. That's just a trait that I really admire, because not many people are able to motivate themselves and as well as other people out there. And it's just something that you just really have a good talent for. And I just truly love that about you, and I hope that you can always maintain that positive motivation towards yourself and other people as well as for me, because that's something that also helps me in my transition in life to help me push me forward, as well as yourself. And I think that would benefit our relationship as a whole, greatly, in the future as well. And I'm a pretty good motivator myself, since I'm a pretty optimistic guy. So it's great to share our motivation on both sides. So the second thing was that you're able to provide the unconditional love, that unfortunately my parents are unable to provide me at this time, and probably for a very long time. And that's something that not everyone is able to experience. With friends, family, even partners. Sometimes they lose that type of love, and it's just sad. But I'm very grateful that you're able to provide me the love that I provide you as well. So no matter what I am, as long as I have a good heart inside and good intentions, and I treat you well, and just be the man that that you love. I think that's something that I just want to hold dear, and I want to treasure in my heart forever.
Oh, that's great. Thank you. So, what do I love about you? Well, I would say some of the top traits would be your openness and honesty. You're the most open and honest person that I have ever met. You're very there's like it's so hard for you to like even like just keep a secret away. I mean, it's you're so open. You're very positive and optimistic, which is I'll group that into number one, even though it is a bit separate. But yeah, same kind of thing there. So yeah, you're very accepting and open minded as well. Like that's something that I really look up to you about as well. Your openness and your acceptance of others, because you pretty much accept people regardless of how they are, and it's like almost like a no questions asked. Like, okay, you have these kind of thoughts, you believe this type of thing. Okay, that's fine. It's not like you're discriminating against any of those people, and that I find that very fascinating because so many people have their own biases, including myself. Like I view things in a different way, but with you, it's like I don't know. It's just something that I admire and I look up to, and something that I need to work on more within myself. Be even more accepting of other people, even though as I was like I thought I was accepting, and then when I met you, I was like, wait a minute, I'm not as accepting as you are. So that's definitely one of the biggest traits, and just also your dedication and your loyalty as well. I can definitely tell that you put a lot of time and energy into the things that you are dedicated about, that you are passionate about, and that even includes like the romance that we have, because you're very loyal to me, and I can definitely tell that, and it's just such an amazing thing. I can definitely tell all those positive feelings that you have, and that you are very dedicated, and you're even dedicated when when you're out with like a friend sometime, you won't be distracted with like other people's conversations. Like if you're with me, you won't be, texting and messaging a bunch of other friends. And when you're with them, you're not texting and messaging all your other friends too. So you're like dedicating your time to those people that you're with, which is very good. And that's what you should do. Shouldn't be all distracted all over the place with a bunch of things. So these are definitely traits that I admire about you, that I like about you, and that I don't like about you. I love about you, and that I kind of want to see myself more in that position as well, to be able to do that. So it's something that I see as perhaps some weaknesses that I have that I should work on. So I think that's a very good thing, and I'm very happy for that. And because okay, so moving on to our final question for right now. How can we maintain a strong relationship? And I will begin it here. There are many ways to do that, and it's kind of some people don't really have that open type of communication, because the communication is always number one. Always, regardless of anything. So what I did is I suggested that each month we think of a trait that we like about ourselves, and that we like about one another, as well as what needs work within ourselves and within one another. And I think that would kind of open up the door to be able to, what do we need to work on for this month within ourselves? Like what personal goals do we have, as well as what we may see as a thing that may end up causing some conflict later in a relationship. Bring that up now that we may not necessarily like about one another, and to kind of talk about that, and to be open about that, and to have that dialogue. Because most people, especially early on in a relationship, they're so blinded by the love that they don't see anything negative about the other person. They just see all the positive traits, and it's like, oh, wonderful. And then the more you're around that person, the other negative traits start to come up, and it's like, okay, why didn't I see this sooner? It was always there. You just were blinded by all the positive aspects. So you have to rationalize that. So I think the open communication is one of the most important things. So what are your thoughts?
Totally agree with you on that. It's not good to avoid confrontations. If you have something minor or major to talk about with your partner, it's better to bring it out sooner than later. Just be honest with each other and maintain communication and trust with each other. That's just very important in any type of relationship, whether it's long distance, friendship, relationship, family, any type. It's really good to always talk it out with each other. Don't ignore each other, because that'll just drag it out. And the longer it's dragged out, the worse it gets usually.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I think we're both very happy that we have met one another, because there's definitely always a learning experience. And as I've said, it's always a learning experience, regardless of whatever outcome there is, because it's how I look at it as is, regardless of if we stay together, or even if we break it off at some point, there's always something to learn there. So I'm not really worried about any kind of outcome, because I know that either way, we will both learn and grow from that. Of course, I would always want the most positive thing. I would want us to stay together and grow stronger together. But that's also not realistic to say, okay, that's going to last forever. Because nothing technically lasts forever. I mean, even if we stay together our whole lives, we'll end up dying, and then, But it's always good to learn and be optimistic, and to just think positively, and to not, have a destructive mindset of trying to hold on to someone for so long, but to just be open and honest about whatever kind of issues that may come up. So, what do you think?
Yeah, I think even if we did not become a couple, we would have still stayed friends. So,
Mm-hmm.
like I said before, I was prepared for either outcome. Either way, it's I will learn from our relationship, whether it's friendship or lovers or partners. There's always something good to take from that, and you're always out there to better yourself. So either way, I was prepared to either be with you romantically or just be friends with you. It wouldn't have affected my relationship with you at all. I would have still kept in touch with you and communicated with you, and just build our friendship even stronger from there.
And that's such a great thing. Is many people would like, all right, I'm not interested in you, and you're not interested in me, so that's it. I'm done.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Because you'll never get to discover the true person that they are and how amazing they are. Just how wonderful of a person that you are.
Yep.
And I'm so happy to just be with you. Every time we're with each other, it's always a blessing.
Great. So, if any of you have any further questions, you can feel free to comment them because we may do, as I said, we may do a live stream at some point. So, keep those questions in mind for that time. Are there any final words you wanted to say?
Nothing I want to say. I mostly said everything I wanted in this video today, but yep.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, you can certainly know more about him if you watch our previous video together, or you could check out his YouTube channel, and we will make other videos in the future for sure.
Yes, we will. So stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Stay tuned for real, okay? So, we will end it now, and we will see you all
Bye bye.
very soon, yes.